You know, people often say genius is inspiration, but I've found it's something else entirely. It's method, discipline, the relentless drive to take a problem, break it down, and work through it, step by step, until the answer surrenders. That's how I created the electric light, the phonograph, the motion picture camera. Not because I waited for lightning to strike, but because I tested thousands of ideas, failing fast and learning faster. Today, we're surrounded by problems that seem unsolvable. Rising food costs, shortages, power failures, you name it. But here's the truth. No crisis is beyond your ability to handle if you approach it like a scientist, like a builder, like a prepper with a plan, and that's exactly what we're here to do. On this channel, we don't panic, we prepare. So if you're the kind of person who wants real, proven strategies to stay ahead of the next disaster, subscribe now and join a community that values preparation over fear. Stick with us, because the next item on the list might just save your entire food supply. The warm glow of electric light surrounds you, so common you barely notice it anymore. But in that soft radiance lies a deeper truth, one that could save your life in the coming storms. You see, most people think genius struck me like lightning. When I created the light bulb, they imagined some magical moment of inspiration, a flash of brilliance that changed the world forever. They couldn't be more wrong. The reality? I tested over 10,000 different filaments, 10,000 failures, 10,000 moments where most would have given up, declared it impossible, walked away. But here's what separated me from them. I never saw those attempts as failures. Each one taught me something new, showed me another way that wouldn't work, brought me one step closer to success. Picture yourself in my laboratory at Menlo Park. The air thick with determination, not desperation. Hour after hour, day after day, testing another material that might finally sustain that precious light. Bamboo fibers, platinum wire, cotton thread, each failure bringing not disappointment, but data. This wasn't genius at work. It was something far more powerful. It was process, method, system. Now you're facing your own darkness. Rising food costs straining your budget. Supply chains crumbling. Energy grids showing cracks. The world seems to be teetering on the edge of crisis. And, like those who watched me work, you might be waiting for inspiration to strike, for some brilliant solution to appear from thin air. But let me tell you what I learned in those long hours at Menlo Park. Inspiration is overrated. Process is what saves you. Method is what builds empires. Systems are what sustain civilization. Think about your own preparations. Are you acting on random bursts of worry, buying whatever the latest fear-mongering headline suggests? Or are you building a methodical system, testing your solutions, documenting what works and what doesn't? The difference between panic and preparation is process. When I approached the challenge of electric light, I didn't just hope for success, I built a system to achieve it. Every experiment documented, every failure analyzed, every success built upon. This wasn't just about inventing a light bulb. It was about creating a method that could solve any problem, and that's exactly what you need now. Not panic buying, not reactive stockpiling, but a methodical approach to facing whatever challenges lie ahead. Because here's what most people don't understand about preparation. It's not about having all the answers. It's about having a system to find them. I didn't succeed because I was smarter than everyone else. I succeeded because I was more systematic, more methodical, more willing to embrace the process of failure and learning than anyone else of my time. You're not just preparing for a crisis, you're building your own Menlo Park, a system of survival, a method of resilience, a process that will see you through whatever darkness lies ahead. Remember, genius is what they call success after the fact. But process is what gets you there, and that's what we're going to build together, step by step, test by test, success by success. Because when the lights go out, it won't be inspiration that saves you. It will be the system you built when others were waiting for genius to strike. You know what separates a true inventor from a mere tinkerer? It's not the tools, It's not the workspace. It's the ability to define the problem with crystal clarity before attempting to solve it. Let me tell you about the day I truly began work on the phonograph. Others had captured sound before. That wasn't new. But they were stuck trying to reproduce sound the same way it came in. I saw a different problem: how to capture the vibrations of sound in a way they could be stored and reproduced reliably. By defining the problem precisely, I had already solved half of it. This wasn't about making noise. This wasn't about mimicking human speech. This was about translating sound waves into physical patterns that could be stored and reversed. Once I understood that, the solution became a matter of methodical testing rather than blind experimentation. Now, look at your own situation. You feel the pressure of rising prices, the uncertainty of empty shelves, the shadow of potential blackouts. But these aren't problems, they're symptoms. And treating symptoms without understanding the underlying problem is like trying to invent electric light without understanding electricity. Take out a piece of paper right now. I want you to write down what you're truly afraid of. Not the vague fears fed to you by the media, not the generalized anxiety about the future. Write down the specific, concrete problems that keep you awake at night. Is it running out of food? No. Be more specific. Is it not being able to feed your family for a week? A month? Is it the inability to afford fresh vegetables? The lack of protein sources? Define it precisely. Is it power failure? Again, be specific. Is it losing refrigeration, the inability to cook, lack of heating or cooling, communication breakdown? Each of these is a distinct problem requiring its own solution. Fear becomes manageable when you break it down into its component parts. Vague anxiety about economic collapse paralyzes you. But ensuring 3 months of shelf-stable protein sources, that's a problem you can solve. I didn't approach the challenge of electric light by saying, I want to illuminate the world. I broke it down. What material could sustain incandescence without burning up? How could we distribute power efficiently? What voltage would be safe yet effective? Each question became its own project, its own series of experiments. This is why most people's preparation fails. They stock up on random supplies, driven by formless fears. They're trying to solve a problem they haven't defined, like an inventor building parts without knowing what machine they're for. Your first task isn't stockpiling, it isn't buying equipment, it isn't learning skills. Your first task is defining exactly what you're preparing for. What specific scenarios, what specific needs, what specific time frames. Write down your 3 biggest vulnerabilities, not general categories, specific scenarios. Instead of food security, write ability to provide 2,000 nutritious calories per person per day for 90 days without external supply. Instead of power concerns, write maintain critical electrical systems for 72 hours during grid failure. This isn't just an exercise in semantics. This is the foundation of effective preparation. Every successful invention I created started with a clear, precise definition of the problem I was trying to solve. Your preparation should be no different. Because here's the truth. A well-defined problem is already half solved. When you know exactly what you're solving for, the path forward becomes clear. The necessary experiments reveal themselves. The solutions begin to take shape. Don't let vague fears rule your preparations. Define your problems with inventors' precision, because only then can you begin to solve them with inventors' efficiency. Remember, clarity precedes capability. Define the problem clearly, and you're already on the path to solving it. When people visited my laboratory at Menlo Park, they often expected to find me hunched over complex machinery, endlessly tinkering. But more often than not, they'd find me simply watching, observing, taking notes about everything, from the way smoke curled from a candle to how different materials responded to heat. This wasn't idle curiosity. This was methodical observation. Every detail mattered. Every pattern held potential. Every anomaly could be the key to breakthrough. Think about the motion picture camera. I didn't create it by starting with technical drawings. I started by observing how the human eye perceives continuous motion. I studied the way birds' wings moved in flight. I watched how light played across moving objects. The solution wasn't in my workshop. It was in the world around me. Now, let's apply this to your situation. The signs of coming challenges are everywhere if you know how to look. But most people are too busy panicking to observe properly. They miss the subtle indicators that could give them the advantage of early preparation. Take your local grocery store. Don't just notice the empty shelves. Observe the patterns. Which items disappear first? Which ones get restocked quickly? Which ones linger? These patterns tell you more about real supply chain vulnerabilities than any news report. Watch how people shop. Not just what they buy, but when they buy it. Are they shopping more frequently but buying less? Are they switching to cheaper brands? Are they buying in bulk? These behavioral changes are early warning signs of economic stress. Pay attention to your utility bills, not just the total amount, but the usage patterns. Where are the spikes? What's the trend line? How do seasonal changes affect consumption? Understanding these patterns now helps you prepare for disruptions later. Monitor your local infrastructure. Not just the obvious problems, but the subtle signs of strain. How often do you see repair crews? Are maintenance schedules being extended? Are response times to outages increasing? These are the canaries in your coal mine. I didn't create the electrical grid by focusing solely on the light bulb. I observed how people used light when they needed it most, what they were willing to pay for it, how far they would go to access it. These observations shaped not just the invention, but the entire system of electrical distribution. Your preparation needs this same level of systematic observation. Don't just react to headlines. Create your own intelligence network through careful observation. Start a journal. Document everything you notice about your local environment. Price changes, stock levels, weather patterns, community behavior. This isn't just data collection, it's pattern recognition. And patterns reveal opportunities. Watch your own household's consumption patterns. Don't just track what you spend. Track how your needs change over time. What drives increased usage? What creates waste? Where are the inefficiencies? Understanding these patterns is crucial for effective preparation. Learn to distinguish between signal and noise. Not every shortage is a crisis. Not every price increase is inflation. Not every power flicker is grid failure. Careful observation helps you separate meaningful patterns from random fluctuations. This is how I worked. Not by responding to every new problem, but by understanding the underlying patterns that created those problems. This allowed me to anticipate challenges before they became critical. Your preparation should follow the same method. Don't just react to what's happening. Now, observe the patterns that tell you what's coming next. Build your systems based on real data, not fear or speculation. Remember, the most valuable discoveries often come not from what you're looking for, but from what you notice while looking. Train yourself to observe relentlessly. The clues to your survival are hiding in plain sight. When I built Menlo Park, people called it the invention factory. But it wasn't the building that mattered. It was the mindset. A laboratory isn't just a place. It's a commitment to systematic testing, to methodical improvement, to controlled experimentation. You might think you need vast resources to create a testing ground. You don't. My first laboratory was a baggage car on a train, barely bigger than a closet. What mattered wasn't the size. It was the dedication to systematic testing and improvement. Your preparation needs its own laboratory, a space dedicated to testing, refining, and perfecting your survival systems. This isn't about building a fancy bunker. It's about creating an environment where you can safely experiment with the methods that might save your life. Start small. Clear a corner of your basement, empty a closet, clean out the garage. The size doesn't matter. What matters is that this space is dedicated to testing and improvement. This is where theory meets reality. In this space, you'll test your food storage systems. How long do different packaging methods really last? What temperature and humidity levels preserve food best? How do different storage containers perform? Don't trust what others tell you. Test it yourself. Create a power testing station. How long do your batteries really last? How efficient are your solar chargers? What's the actual power draw of your critical devices? These aren't academic questions. They're survival data points. Set up a water purification testing area. Different filters, different methods, different sources. Document everything. Measure efficiency. Track costs. Compare results. This isn't just about having equipment. It's about knowing exactly how it performs. Build a communications testing center. Radio equipment, backup phones, emergency signaling. Devices, test range, battery life, reliability. Don't wait for a crisis to discover limitations. Your laboratory needs proper documentation tools, notebooks, cameras, measuring devices. Every test should be recorded, every result documented, every failure analyzed. This isn't about perfection, it's about progression. Temperature monitoring is crucial. Set up thermometers in different areas. Track how heat and cold affect your supplies. Document how different storage methods perform under stress. Data beats speculation every time. Create a rotation system for your supplies. This isn't just storage, it's a living experiment. Use what you store. Test what you trust. Verify what others claim. Your life might depend on these results. Establish a testing schedule, weekly equipment checks, monthly supply rotations, quarterly system reviews. Your laboratory is a living entity, constantly evolving, continuously improving. Don't forget security. Your laboratory contains both your supplies and your data. Protect both. Climate control, pest prevention, unauthorized access, these are all part of your experimental controls. Set up a repair station, tools organized, spare parts cataloged, maintenance records detailed. The ability to fix and modify equipment is crucial for long-term survival. Create a training area. New skills need practice space. Whether it's medical procedures, equipment repair, or emergency protocols, proficiency requires rehearsal. Remember, every great invention started in a laboratory, not because the laboratory was fancy, but because it was focused. Your preparation deserves the same dedication to testing and improvement. Your laboratory might be humble, but its purpose is profound. This is where you transform theory into practice, where you convert knowledge into capability, where you build the systems that could save your life. Make your space count, every corner dedicated to improvement, every shelf aligned with purpose, every test bringing you closer to true preparedness. Because when crisis strikes, it won't be the size of your laboratory that matters. It will be the quality of the systems you've tested within it. In my lifetime, I filled over 5 million pages of notebooks. Every experiment, every failure, every success, all documented with scientific precision. People called it obsessive. I called it essential. Because true progress isn't just about trying everything. It's about remembering what works and why. Think about the phonograph. The first working model used tin foil around a cylinder. Did I stop there? No. I tested wax cylinders. Different. Groove patterns, various playback speeds. Each variation documented, each improvement recorded, each failure analyzed. But here's what most people miss. The documentation wasn't just about the successes, it was about the process, the dead ends, the almost worked solutions. Because sometimes yesterday's failure becomes tomorrow's breakthrough. Your preparation needs this same rigorous documentation. Not just what you have, but what you've tried, what worked, what failed, what almost worked, but needs refinement. Start with your food storage experiments. Document everything: brands, packaging types, storage conditions, shelf life. Don't just note what spoiled, record how it spoiled. Was it temperature, humidity, container failure? These details matter. Create detailed inventory systems, not just lists, but performance. Records. Which batteries last longest? Which water filters clog first? Which emergency foods actually get eaten versus sitting untouched? Data beats assumptions every time. Maintain testing logs for your equipment. When was it last checked? What maintenance was performed? What problems were found? What solutions worked? This isn't just record keeping, it's building a knowledge base for when you can't Google the answer. Photograph everything, storage methods, equipment setups, repair procedures. A picture can preserve more information than pages of notes. Visual records help you replicate successes and avoid repeated failures. Track your consumption patterns, not just what you use, but when you use it, how much you use. What triggers increased usage? This data helps you predict real needs versus perceived ones. Document your skills practice. What techniques work best? For you, what modifications to standard procedures fit your situation? What shortcuts prove reliable? What improvements actually make things worse? Keep financial records of your preparation, not just costs, but value analysis. What investments paid off? What expensive solutions underperformed? What cheap alternatives proved surprisingly effective? Create decision trees for emergency scenarios. Document your thinking now when you have time to analyze. What triggers what responses? What alternatives exist? What backup plans need to be in place? Maintain communication logs. What methods work in your area? What frequencies are clear? What backup systems prove reliable? Don't wait for emergency to test and document these crucial details. Build procedure manuals, step-by-step guides for critical tasks. Not because you'll forget, but because stress makes simple things difficult. Documented procedures prevent crucial mistakes. Review and update your records regularly. What worked last year might not work now. What failed before might work with new technology. Your documentation should be a living, evolving resource. Share your data selectively. Not everything needs to be private. Build a network of trusted preparers who also document their experiences. Compare notes. Learn from each other's documented successes and failures. Remember, in a crisis, you won't have time to experiment. You'll fall back on what you know works. And you'll only know what works if you've documented your tests and trials. Your notebooks might not fill 5 million pages, but every page you fill with careful observation and documented results builds your resilience. Every record you keep strengthens your preparation, because when the time comes, you won't succeed because you tried everything. You'll succeed because you remember what worked, what failed, and most importantly, why. Let me tell you about failure, not the sanitized version they print in history books, but the raw truth of 10,000 attempts that didn't work. When I was developing the light bulb, every failed filament taught me something. Every burned out prototype pointed the way forward. I didn't just fail, I failed strategically. That's the secret most people miss. It's not about avoiding failure. It's about failing intelligently, failing in ways that teach you something, failing forward. Think about how I approached the light bulb. Each failed filament eliminated one possibility. Each burnt-out prototype narrowed the field of what might work. I wasn't just trying and failing, I was systematically eliminating what wouldn't work to find what would. Your preparation needs this same approach. You're going to fail. Plans will fall short. Equipment will break. Supplies will spoil. But if you fail smart, each setback becomes a step forward. Start with small failures. Test your systems when failure won't cost you everything. Run your generator until it fails, but do it on a sunny day, not during a blackout. Let your stored food reach its limits, but do it when you have alternatives available. Document every failure meticulously. What failed? How did it fail? What preceded the failure? What could have prevented it? This isn't about blame, it's about learning. Every failure is a free lesson if you're paying attention. Create failure scenarios. Don't just plan for success. Plan for different types of failures. What happens if your primary water filter fails? If your food storage is compromised? If your communication systems go down? Planning for failure prevents panic when it happens. Test your backup systems regularly. Don't assume they'll work when needed. Force them to fail in controlled conditions. Learn their limitations. Discover their weaknesses before they become vulnerabilities. Practice recovery procedures. It's not enough to know your systems will fail. You need to know exactly how to get them running again. Every failure is an opportunity to perfect your recovery process. Build redundancy based on observed failures, not blind redundancy. Strategic backup systems that address specific failure points you've discovered through testing. Let experience guide your backup planning. Learn to recognize early warning signs. Every catastrophic failure starts with small indicators. Train yourself to spot them. The sooner you identify potential failure, the more options you have for preventing it. Create failure hierarchies. Not all failures are equal. Some are inconvenient. Others are catastrophic. Know the difference. Prioritize your prevention and recovery efforts accordingly. Establish failure thresholds. At what point does a failing system need to be replaced rather than repaired? When does a compromised supply need to be discarded rather than salvaged? Set these standards before emotion clouds your judgment. Share failure lessons. Not every prepper needs to learn every lesson firsthand. Build networks where failure experiences can be shared safely. Learn from others' mistakes while sharing your own insights. Remember, when I said I hadn't failed 10,000 times, I meant it. Each attempt that didn't work was information gained. Each setback was progress made. Each failure brought me closer to success. Your preparation journey will include failures. That's not just acceptable, it's essential. Every failure in controlled conditions is a success avoided in crisis conditions. Don't fear failure. Harness it. Let it teach you. Let it strengthen you. Let it guide you toward more robust solutions. Because when real challenges come, you won't survive on untested plans. You'll survive on systems that have failed, been improved, and emerged stronger. Fail fast. Fail smart. Learn relentlessly. Because in the end, it's not about avoiding failure, it's about failing forward until you can't fail anymore. Here's something that might surprise you. I didn't invent the light bulb. That's right. Electric light existed before I ever touched it. What I did was make it practical, affordable, and reliable. I took something that existed and transformed it into something that could change the world. This is a crucial lesson for your preparation journey. You don't need to reinvent every wheel. You need to identify what works, understand why it works, and then make it work better. Think about how I approached electric light. Others had created bulbs that would glow briefly before burning out. Instead of starting from scratch, I studied these existing designs. What worked about them? What failed? Where were the opportunities for improvement? Your preparation should follow the same principle. Look at existing solutions not as finished products, but as platforms for improvement. Take proven concepts and make them more efficient, more reliable, more suited to your specific needs. Start with food storage. Traditional canning works. It's proven over centuries. But can you improve the process? Better sealing methods? More efficient storage. Configurations, temperature monitoring systems. Don't reinvent canning, enhance it. Consider power systems. Solar generators exist. But can you improve their efficiency? Better battery management, more effective charging cycles, smarter power distribution. Build on existing technology rather than starting from zero. Water filtration has established methods. Study them, understand them, then look for improvements. Can you create better pre-filters? More efficient flow rates, longer-lasting components? Evolution beats revolution when lives depend on reliability. Look at communication systems. Standard emergency radios work, but how can they work better? Better antenna configurations? More. Efficient power usage? Clearer transmission methods? Improve what's proven rather than risking untested alternatives. Security systems have basic principles. Build on them. How can you enhance traditional locks? Improve surveillance methods. Strengthen access controls. Use existing security concepts as your foundation, not your limitation. Study traditional food preservation. These methods survived for generations because they work. Now, how can you make them work better? More efficient smoking methods, better dehydration techniques, enhanced storage systems. Improve the proven. Examine existing bug-out bags. What works about current designs? What doesn't? How can you improve carrying capacity? Better organization. More efficient packing methods. Perfect what others have proven. Look at emergency medical kits. Standard configurations exist for a reason, but can you improve them? Better organization, more efficient space usage, updated components. Build on medical wisdom, don't ignore it. Consider navigation tools. Traditional maps and compasses work. How can you make them work better? Better waterproofing, more efficient marking systems, enhanced durability. Improve the reliable rather than depending solely on the modern. Study shelter systems. Basic designs have worked for millennia. How can you enhance them? Better materials, more efficient assembly, improved weather resistance. Evolution beats revolution in survival situations. Remember, the goal isn't to create something entirely new. The goal is to take what works and make it work better, to take what's proven and make it perfect for your needs. This was my method at Menlo Park. We didn't reject existing ideas, we improved them. We didn't discard working solutions, we enhanced them. We took what was good and made it better. Your preparation should follow this same path. Don't feel pressured to innovate unnecessarily. Focus on improving what works, making it more efficient, more reliable, more suited to your specific challenges. Because when crisis comes, you don't want to be testing theories. You want to be using improved versions of proven solutions, systems that have worked for others, enhanced to work better for you. At Menlo Park, I didn't work alone. I built a team of specialists, mathematicians, glassblowers, mechanics, chemists. Each brought unique skills, different perspectives, crucial expertise, because the greatest innovations don't come from solitary genius. They come from collaborative excellence. This is a truth many preparers miss. They try to become expert at everything, master of all skills, keeper of all knowledge. But true resilience isn't about knowing everything yourself. It's about building a network of competent people who can work together effectively. Think about how I developed the electrical grid. It wasn't just about the light bulb. We needed experts in power generation, distribution systems, safety protocols, business operations. No single person could master it all. The solution was building the right team. Your preparation needs this same approach. You can't be an expert, farmer, mechanic, medic, engineer, and security specialist. But you can build relationships with people who excel in these areas. Create a network of capability rather than trying to contain it all yourself. Start with your immediate circle. What skills do family members have? What expertise do close friends possess? What capabilities can you count on in your household? This is your core team, the people you trust most. Look to your neighbors. Who has medical training? Who knows about agriculture? Who understands? Electronics? Don't just know their names. Build relationships. Strong communities survive together. Identify local experts. Who repairs generators? Who knows about well systems? Who understands radio equipment? Build connections before you need them. Expertise is more valuable than equipment. Create skill-sharing opportunities, organize training sessions, facilitate knowledge exchange, host, practice scenarios. The more your network learns from each other, the stronger it becomes. Establish communication protocols. How will your team contact each other in emergencies? What backup methods exist? What codes or signals will you use? Communication is the backbone of effective teamwork. Define roles clearly. Who leads in different scenarios? Who makes specific decisions? Who has what responsibilities? Clarity prevents confusion when stress is high. Build redundancy in critical skills. Ensure multiple people can perform essential tasks. Cross-train in crucial areas. Don't let any vital capability have a single point of failure. Create resource-sharing agreements. What equipment can be shared? What supplies can be pooled? What facilities can be used cooperatively? Formalize these arrangements before crisis strikes. Establish trust through regular interaction, monthly meetings, joint training sessions, shared projects. Strong teams aren't built in emergencies. They're built in quiet times. Develop decision-making frameworks. How will the team resolve conflicts? What process will you use for major decisions? What authority does each member have? Clear protocols prevent paralysis. Remember, when I created the phonograph, the motion picture camera, the light bulb, none of these were solo achievements. They were team accomplishments. Each innovation required multiple specialists working in concert. Your preparation should follow this model. Don't try to be a survival encyclopedia. Be a team builder, a network creator, a capability coordinator, because when real challenges come, you won't survive on individual skills alone. You'll survive on the strength of the network you've built, the team you've assembled, the capabilities you've coordinated. This isn't just about having helpers. It's about creating a resilient system of interconnected skills and knowledge, a network that can adapt, respond, and overcome whatever challenges arise. Build your team now. Foster those relationships. Develop those networks, because in the end, it won't be lone wolves who survive. It will be strong packs working together effectively. You know what my greatest invention was? Not the light bulb, not the phonograph. It was focus, the ability to tune out everything except the problem at hand. When I worked, the world disappeared. Nothing existed except the challenge before me. In those endless hours at Menlo Park, testing, filament after filament, I wasn't distracted by politics, by market fluctuations, by what others were doing. I had one mission: create sustainable electric light. Everything else was noise. This laser focus is what's missing from most people's preparation efforts. They're scattered, reactive, jumping from one worry to the next. Today, it's food shortages. Tomorrow, it's power grid concerns. Next week, it's economic collapse. They never solve anything because they're trying to solve everything. Your preparation needs this same intense focus. Not the frantic energy of panic, but the steady, relentless concentration of a scientist solving a critical problem. One challenge at a time, one solution at a time. Everything else is noise. Start with your biggest vulnerability, not all of them, just one. Is it food security? Then focus entirely on that. Don't let concerns about other threats dilute your concentration. Solve one problem completely before moving to the next. Eliminate information overflow. Stop consuming endless disaster scenarios. Stop scrolling through prepper forums. Stop absorbing every new theory about what might go wrong. Focus on what you're solving right now. Create clear work periods. Set specific times for different preparation tasks. Don't let food storage planning bleed into power backup research. Don't let security concerns interrupt water purification projects. Compartmentalize your efforts. Develop project tunnels. When you're working on water storage, everything is about water storage. When you're testing communication systems, everything is about communications. Complete focus on one area at a time. Build information filters. Not every prepper theory needs your attention. Not every market fluctuation requires response. Not every new product deserves investigation. Filter ruthlessly, focus intentionally. Establish priority hierarchies. What truly threatens your survival? What merely threatens your comfort? What's urgent versus what's important? Let these distinctions guide your focus. Create completion criteria. When is a system truly ready? What defines success? What standards must be met? Don't let nebulous goals destroy your focus. Know exactly what you're working toward. Implement focus periods. 2 hours on food storage, 3 hours on water systems, 4 hours on power backup. Rigid time blocks enforce concentrated effort and prevent scattershot preparation. Document single-track progress. Don't keep general aid preparation logs. Keep specific project journals, water purification journal, food storage journal, power system journal. Let each track maintain its own focus. Maintain project momentum. Switching between preparation areas kills efficiency. Stay with one system until it's complete. Let focus generate progress. Let progress generate motivation. Remember, when I worked on the motion picture camera, I wasn't simultaneously trying to perfect the phonograph. Each innovation required absolute concentration. Each success came from relentless focus. Your preparation must follow this same principle. Don't try to solve everything at once. Don't let every new crisis demand your attention. Pick your priority. Focus your energy. Complete your mission. Because when real challenges come, you won't survive on scattered preparations. You'll survive on systems you focused on completely. Solutions you developed with total concentration. Capabilities you built with laser focus. Kill the noise. Find your focus. Maintain your mission. Because in the end, it's not about preparing for everything. It's about preparing completely for what matters most. The electric grid wasn't built on inspiration. It wasn't created through bursts of genius or moments of insight. It was built through systematic, methodical development of interconnected systems, each component designed to work with others, each element carefully planned and tested. This is what separates true preparation from panic reaction. Systems thinking versus emotional response. Methodical development versus sporadic action. The difference between hoping to survive and knowing you can. Think about how I approached electrical distribution. We didn't just string wires randomly, we created systems for generation, transmission, transformation, and delivery, each part designed to work with others, each component serving a specific purpose. Your preparation needs this same systematic approach. Not emotional stockpiling when prices rise. Not random purchases when fears spike, but carefully designed systems that work together to ensure your survival. Start with your food systems. Not just storage, but a complete cycle: acquisition, preservation, storage, rotation, preparation, waste management. Each component designed to work with others. Each element serving a specific purpose. Create water systems. Sources, collection, filtration, storage, testing, distribution, not separate elements, but an integrated system where each part supports the others, designed for redundancy, efficiency, and reliability. Develop power systems, generation, storage, distribution, backup, maintenance. Each component selected to work with others. Each element designed for specific needs and conditions. Build security systems, physical barriers, monitoring communication, response protocols. Not individual measures, but an integrated system of protection. Each part reinforcing others. Establish communication systems. Primary methods, backup channels, emergency protocols, security measures. Design for reliability, redundancy, and resilience. Systems beat isolated solutions. Create inventory systems, not just lists, but complete management, tracking, rotation, replacement, testing. Design for efficiency, accuracy, and ease of maintenance. Develop maintenance systems. Regular checks, preventive care, repair protocols, replacement schedules. Don't wait for failure. Systematize upkeep. Build financial systems, emergency funds, resource allocation, investment strategies, crisis budgeting. Design for stability and sustainability, not just survival. Establish training systems, skill development, knowledge transfer, practice schedules, performance evaluation. Systematize improvement, don't leave it to chance. Create decision systems, clear protocols, defined responsibilities, communication channels, action triggers. Don't leave crucial choices to emotional moments. Remember, when I developed the phonograph, success didn't come from the recording cylinder alone. It came from the systematic development of every component, from the stylus to the speaker horn, each part working in harmony with others. Your preparation must follow this same principle. Don't create isolated solutions. Build integrated systems. Don't rely on emotional responses. Trust systematic approaches. Because when crisis strikes, you won't survive on random preparations. You'll survive on systems that work together seamlessly, solutions that support each other automatically. Components that function as a unified whole. This is how I built lasting innovations, not through isolated inventions, but through systematic development of complete solutions. Each component carefully designed, each element thoroughly tested, each part working in harmony with others. Your preparation deserves this same systematic approach. Don't let emotion drive your actions. Don't let fear dictate your responses. Build systems. When I was developing the electrical system that would power America, I didn't try to solve everything at once. I broke it down into distinct challenges: the generator, the transmission lines, the transformers, the light bulbs. Each piece its own puzzle, each component its own project. This is where most preparation efforts fail. People try to solve everything simultaneously. They attempt to become completely self-sufficient overnight. They try to prepare for every possible disaster at once. And in trying to solve everything, they solve nothing completely. Think about how I approached the phonograph. First, the recording mechanism, then the playback system, then the amplification method. Each piece solved independently, then integrated into the whole. This wasn't just organization, it was strategy. Your preparation needs this same methodical approach. Don't try to become completely prepared in one giant leap. Break down your survival needs into distinct, manageable pieces. Solve them one at a time. Master each component before moving to the next. Start with water, not your entire water system, at once but piece by piece. First, sourcing. What are your primary water sources, your backups, your emergency options? Solve this completely before moving on. Then, water filtration. What methods will you use? What backup systems? What maintenance requirements? Focus entirely on this piece until it's mastered. Next, water storage. What containers? What rotation? System? What testing methods? Complete this piece fully before advancing. Move to food systematically. Begin with calorie requirements. How many people? How long? What nutritional needs? Solve these calculations completely. Then food storage methods. What preservation techniques? What packaging systems? What rotation protocols? Master this piece before proceeding. Next, food preparation. What cooking methods? What fuel sources? What backup systems? Complete this component thoroughly. Approach power needs systematically. Start with assessment. What devices are crucial? What's their power draw? What's your minimum viable system? Then power generation. What primary methods? What backup systems? What maintenance requirements? Solve this piece completely. Next, power storage. What battery systems? What charging methods? What testing protocols? Master this component fully. Security follows the allié, same pattern. Begin with assessment. What are you protecting from what threats? With what priorities? Then physical security. What barriers? What locks? What reinforcements? Complete this piece thoroughly. Next, monitoring systems. What detection methods? What alert systems? What response protocols? Master this component fully. Remember, when I created the motion picture camera, I didn't solve projection, film development, and camera mechanics simultaneously. I tackled each challenge separately, mastered it, then moved forward. Your preparation must follow this same principle. Don't try to become completely self-sufficient in one giant project. Break it down, solve one piece at a time, master each component before moving to the next. Because when crisis strikes, you won't survive on half-solved problems. You'll survive on fully developed solutions. Components you've mastered completely. Systems you've tested thoroughly. This is how lasting preparation is built, not through frantic activity trying to solve everything at once, but through methodical, systematic mastery of each crucial component. Take your time. Solve one piece at a time. Build your preparation like I built my innovations, through careful, thorough development of each essential element. People often forget that I wasn't just an inventor, I was a businessman. Understanding markets wasn't optional. The best invention in the world means nothing if people can't access it, afford it, use it effectively. This is why I didn't just create the light bulb. I created an entire electrical industry around it. This same principle applies to your preparation. You can't ignore market signals. They're not just economic indicators, they're early warning systems. They tell you what's becoming scarce, what's growing abundant, what's about to change. Think about how I approached the electrical grid. We didn't just guess at pricing. We studied usage patterns, analyzed costs, projected demand. Every decision was informed by market reality. Every innovation was guided by practical needs. Your preparation needs the same market awareness, not to profit, but to prepare effectively, to understand what's becoming scarce before it disappears, to recognize what's growing valuable before prices spike. Start with price tracking, not just noting increases, but understanding patterns. What items spike first during shortages? What supplies become scarce before others? What products maintain stability longest? Monitor supply chains. Where do your crucial items originate? What routes do they follow? What vulnerabilities exist? Understanding supply lines helps you predict disruptions before they occur. Study substitution patterns. When people can't get their first choice, what do they buy instead? What alternatives become popular? What replacements prove effective? This knowledge helps you adapt before you're forced to. Watch inventory cycles. How quickly do stores restock different items? What products sit on shelves longest? What supplies disappear first? These patterns reveal real versus perceived scarcity. Track seasonal variations. What supplies become scarce in winter? What items spike in summer? What products have predictable cycles? Plan your acquisition around these patterns. Analyze price relationships. When fuel costs rise, what else increases? When food prices spike, what remains stable? Understanding these connections helps you prepare strategically, monitor regulatory changes. What new rules might affect supply? What policies could impact availability? What regulations might create artificial scarcity? Stay ahead of administrative impacts. Study market innovations. What new products solve old problems? What improvements make systems more efficient? What advances make preparation easier? Let market development guide your choices. Watch consumer behavior. What are people stockpiling? What are they avoiding? What are they replacing? These patterns often predict future scarcity. Analyze price trends, not just increases, but rates of change. Sudden spikes versus gradual rises, temporary versus permanent changes. Let these patterns inform your timing. Remember, when I developed the phonograph, I didn't just create what I thought people needed. I studied what they would actually use, what they could afford, what solved their real problems. Your preparation must follow this same principle. Don't just stock what you think you might need. Watch what markets tell you will become scarce. Prepare for what reality suggests will be valuable. Because when crisis strikes, you won't survive on what you guessed might be useful. You'll survive on supplies you knew would be necessary, resources you acquired based on market signals, preparations you made based on real indicators. This is how effective preparation works, not through blind stockpiling, but through market-informed acquisition, not through panic buying, but through strategic accumulation based on observable trends. Watch the markets, track the patterns, prepare accordingly. Because in the end, markets don't just predict the future, they help you prepare for it effectively. Throughout my career, I fought over 1,000 patent battles, not because I enjoyed legal conflict, but because I understood a fundamental truth. Creating something valuable is only half the challenge. Protecting it is equally crucial. This principle applies powerfully to your preparation efforts. It's not enough to build systems, store supplies, develop skills. You must protect these assets, not just from theft or damage, but from all forms of degradation, interference, and compromise. Think about how I protected my innovations. Multiple layers of security, careful documentation, strategic redundancy. Every valuable development required its own protection strategy. Every important system needed its own security measures. Your preparation needs this same comprehensive protection, not just locks and cameras, but complete security at every level. Physical, operational, informational, every aspect of your preparation must be protected appropriately. Start with physical security, not just your primary storage, but every critical component. How are your water supplies protected? Your food storage? Your power systems? Each element needs its own security strategy. Develop information security. Who knows about your preparations? What details have you shared? What information could compromise your security? Sometimes the greatest protection is silence. Create documentation security. Where are your crucial records kept? How are they protected? How are they backed up? Don't lose vital information to fire, flood, or simple degradation. Establish operational security. How do you maintain your systems without drawing attention? How do you rotate supplies discreetly? How do you test equipment without advertising capabilities? Build environmental protection. How are your supplies protected from heat, from cold, from humidity, from pests? Natural elements can defeat the strongest security systems. Implement access controls. Who can reach your supplies? Under what conditions? With what oversight? Clear protocols prevent casual compromise. Develop maintenance security. How do you service systems without creating vulnerabilities? How do you repair equipment without exposing capabilities? Protection must continue during upkeep. Create communication security. How do you coordinate with your team securely? What codes or signals will you use? What backup methods exist? Protected communication is crucial for coordinated action. Establish legal protection. What permits do you need? What regulations must you follow? What documentation should you maintain? Legal compliance protects your preparation investment. Build reputation security. How do you maintain privacy without arousing suspicion? How do you blend in while staying prepared? Sometimes the best protection is being unremarkable. Remember, when I developed the electrical grid, protection wasn't an afterthought. Security was built into every component. Every system had its own protection strategy. Every asset had its own security measures. Your preparation must follow this same principle. Don't just create valuable systems, protect them effectively. Don't just store crucial supplies, secure them completely. Because when crisis strikes, you won't survive on compromised systems. You'll survive on protected assets, secured supplies, defended capabilities. This is how lasting preparation works. Not through accumulation alone, but through careful protection of every critical component. Not just building systems, but securing them effectively. Protect what you build, secure what you store, defend what you develop. Because in the end, the most valuable preparation is the one that remains intact when you need it most. When I developed the light bulb, success wasn't achieved in isolation. Each prototype had to work in the real world, under real conditions, with real users. The laboratory was just the beginning. The true test came when ordinary people needed to use these innovations in their daily lives. This is where many preparation plans fail. They look perfect on paper. They work flawlessly in controlled conditions. But they've never been tested under real-world stress, with real-world complications, facing real-world challenges. Think about how I tested the electrical system, not just in controlled environments, but in actual homes, businesses, streets. We discovered problems that no amount of laboratory testing could reveal. Real-world use exposed weaknesses no theory could predict. Your preparation needs this same real-world validation. Don't just store supplies, use them. Don't just create systems, test them. Don't just develop plans, practice them. Because theory and reality often tell very different stories. Start with your food storage. Don't just store it, eat it. Live off your stored food for a week. Cook with only your emergency supplies. Use your alternative cooking methods. Reality will teach you what works and what doesn't. Test your water systems completely. Don't just store water, use it. Live off your stored water for days. Use your filtration systems. Practice your collection. Methods. Real usage reveals real weaknesses. Exercise your power systems fully. Don't just charge batteries, rely on them. Run your crucial equipment on backup power. Test your generators under load. Real-world conditions expose real limitations. Practice your communication systems. Don't just check if they work. Use them exclusively. Operate your radios under different conditions. Test your backup methods in various weather. Reality reveals. Reliability. Live your security protocols. Don't just have them. Implement them. Practice your response plans. Test your alert systems. Run your evacuation procedures. Real drills expose real vulnerabilities. Test your medical preparations. Don't just store supplies. Practice using them. Simulate emergency responses. Practice with your equipment. Reality reveals what you truly know and don't know. Exercise your bug-out plans. Don't just pack bags. Use them. Carry your equipment. Navigate your routes. Test your gear. Real movement exposes real limitations. Practice your skills regularly. Don't just learn techniques. Apply them. Use your tools under stress. Perform your procedures under pressure. Reality reveals true proficiency. Test your team coordination. Don't just plan together. Work together. Practice your protocols. Execute your procedures. Real cooperation exposes real challenges. Run your systems under stress. Don't just test when convenient. Test when tired, when cold, when wet, when hungry. Reality doesn't wait for ideal conditions. Remember, when I created the phonograph, success wasn't achieved through theory alone. It came through relentless real-world testing, through actual use under actual conditions. Your preparation must follow this same principle. Don't just create plans. Test them thoroughly. Don't just store supplies. Use them regularly. Don't just develop skills. Practice them constantly. Because when crisis strikes, you won't survive on untested theories. You'll survive on systems you've proven work, skills you've actually used, plans you've truly tested. This is how effective preparation works, not through theoretical planning, but through practical validation, not through isolated testing, but through real-world application. Test everything. Test it thoroughly. Test it under real conditions. Because in the end, the only preparation you can truly count on is preparation you've proven works in the real world. The light bulb you know today isn't the one I first created. The phonograph you remember isn't the original design. Every invention, every system, every solution evolved through countless iterations. Because in innovation, as in survival, standing still means falling behind. This is where many preppers fail. They build their systems, stock their supplies, learn their skills, and then stop. They treat preparation as a destination rather than a journey. They forget that the world keeps changing, and their preparation must change with it. Think about how I approached the electrical grid. We didn't just build it and walk away. We constantly improved it, enhanced it, adapted it to new needs, new technologies, new challenges. Each iteration made the system stronger, more reliable, more capable. Your preparation needs this same constant evolution, not just maintaining what you have, but actively improving it. Not just preserving your systems, but progressively enhancing them. Because what worked yesterday might not work tomorrow. Start with regular system audits, not just checking if things work, but analyzing how they could work better. What could be more efficient, more reliable, more effective? Each audit should drive improvement. Review your food storage systematically. What items aren't being used? What supplies need updating? What new options should you consider? Let experience guide evolution. Evaluate your water systems critically. How could filtration be improved? Storage be enhanced? Collection be optimized? Each review should identify upgrade opportunities. Assess your power solutions thoroughly. What new technologies could you integrate? What efficiencies could you gain? What backups could you enhance? Innovation never stops. Examine your security measures regularly. What new threats have emerged? What new protections are available? What old systems need upgrading? Security must evolve to remain effective. Update your skills continuously. What new techniques should you learn? What old skills need refreshing? What capabilities should you develop? Knowledge must grow to remain valuable. Revise your plans periodically. What assumptions have changed? What new factors must you consider? What adjustments are needed? Plans must adapt to remain viable. Upgrade your equipment systematically. What gear is outdated? What tools need replacing? What new options should you consider? Equipment must advance to remain reliable. Review your documentation regularly. What information needs updating? What procedures need revision? What records need enhancing? Documentation must evolve to remain useful. Test your improvements rigorously. How do changes affect the whole system? What unexpected consequences emerge? What adjustments are needed? Evolution requires validation. Remember, when I developed the motion picture camera, each version was better than the last. Each iteration solved problems. Each enhancement added capability. Standing still was never an option. Your preparation must follow this same principle. Don't just maintain your systems, improve them constantly. Don't just preserve your capabilities, enhance them regularly. Because when crisis strikes, you won't survive on outdated preparations. You'll survive on systems you've kept current, capabilities you've kept relevant, solutions you've kept evolving. This is how lasting preparation works, not through one-time effort, but through constant improvement, not through static systems, but through dynamic evolution. Iterate everything. Improve constantly. Adapt continuously. Because in the end, the only preparation that truly works is preparation that keeps pace with a changing world. At Menlo Park, I didn't just develop innovations, I developed innovators. I taught young inventors, shared knowledge, created an environment where learning was constant and teaching was essential. Because I understood a fundamental truth, teaching others doesn't weaken your position, it strengthens your entire system. This principle is crucial for preparation. Many people hoard not just supplies, but knowledge. They keep their skills secret, their methods private, their discoveries personal. They think sharing makes them vulnerable. They couldn't be more wrong. Think about how I approached the electrical industry. I didn't just create technology, I created technicians. I didn't just develop systems, I developed experts who could maintain, repair, and improve those systems. Teaching wasn't optional, it was essential for success. Your preparation needs this same approach to knowledge sharing. Not reckless disclosure, but strategic teaching. Not complete transparency, but calculated knowledge transfer. Because in a crisis, the strength of your community becomes your strength. Start with your immediate family. Don't just prepare for them, prepare with them. Teach them your systems. Share your knowledge. Build their capabilities. Family members who understand your preparation become active participants rather than passive dependents. Train your trusted neighbors, not in everything, but in crucial skills that benefit the community. Basic repair techniques, simple medical procedures, essential safety protocols. Knowledge shared builds resilience shared. Educate your preparation team thoroughly. Don't just assign roles. Develop expertise. Teach the reasoning behind procedures. Share the principles behind practices. Understanding creates adaptability. Develop teaching protocols. What knowledge should be shared? How should it be taught? When should it be revealed? Strategic teaching requires systematic approaches. Create learning progressions. Don't dump all knowledge at once. Build understanding systematically. Develop capabilities progressively. Effective teaching follows clear paths. Establish practical exercises. Don't just explain, demonstrate. Don't just show, involve. Don't just tell, practice. Real learning requires real doing. Document teaching materials. Create clear guides. Develop useful references. Build lasting resources. Teaching tools. Multiply teaching effectiveness. Practice emergency responses together. Don't just plan, rehearse. Don't just discuss, execute. Don't just prepare, perform. Shared practice builds shared capability. Build teaching relationships. Who can teach you? Who can you teach? What knowledge should flow in each direction? Learning should be reciprocal. Create teaching opportunities. Regular sessions, practical workshops, skill-sharing events. Teaching moments multiply naturally when you look for them. Remember, when I trained my team at Menlo Park, I wasn't just passing time, I was building capacity. Every person who learned strengthened our entire operation. Every skill shared multiplied our capabilities. Your preparation must follow this same principle. Don't just accumulate knowledge, share it strategically. Don't just develop skills, teach them systematically. Because when crisis strikes, you won't survive on personal knowledge alone. You'll survive on the capabilities you've built in others, the understanding you've developed in your team, the expertise you've created in your community. This is how lasting preparation works. Not through isolated knowledge, but through shared capability. Not through hoarded skills, but through multiplied expertise. Teach what you know, share what you've learned, build capability in others. Because in the end, the strength of your preparation isn't just in what you know, it's in what those around you can do. The electrical grid wasn't built for a day or a year or even a decade. It was built for generations. Every component designed for longevity, every system created for continuity, every innovation developed with the future in mind. Because true achievement isn't just about solving today's problems, it's about building solutions that last. This is where many preparation efforts fall short. They focus solely on immediate survival. They plan for the crisis, but not the recovery. They prepare for the event, but not the aftermath. They think in terms of survival rather than legacy. Think about how I approached my innovations. The light bulb wasn't just about illumination, it was about transforming how future generations would live. The phonograph wasn't just about recording sound, it was about preserving voices for posterity. Every invention carried a vision of the future. Your preparation needs this same long-term perspective, not just storing supplies for tomorrow, but building systems for years to come. Not just developing skills for yourself, but creating capabilities that can be passed down. Because true preparation isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving across generations. Start with documentation, not just notes for yourself, but clear instructions for others, detailed guides, comprehensive manuals, future-proof references that others can understand and use. Build sustainable systems, not just solutions that work now, but methods that can be maintained over time. Repeatable processes, teachable techniques, systems that others can inherit and operate. Create lasting infrastructure, not just temporary setups, but permanent improvements, durable installations, long-term solutions, facilities that will serve future needs. Develop transferable skills, not just personal capabilities, but knowledge that can be passed on. Teachable methods, shareable expertise, skills that others can learn and master. Establish continuity protocols, not just emergency procedures, but long-term operational guides, succession plans, knowledge transfer systems, methods for preserving crucial information. Build resource networks, not just personal contacts, but enduring relationships, community connections, supply chains, networks that can survive personal transitions. Create maintenance systems, not just current upkeep, but long-term preservation methods, repair procedures, replacement protocols, systems that others can maintain and improve. Develop adaptation frameworks, not just current solutions, but methods for future evolution. Upgrade paths, enhancement procedures, systems that can grow and change. Establish value preservation, not just protecting assets, but ensuring their lasting utility. Conservation methods, preservation techniques, systems for maintaining long-term value. Build knowledge repositories, not just personal records, but shared wisdom collections. Experience archives, lesson collections, resources that benefit future generations. Remember, when I created the electrical grid, I wasn't just powering cities, I was empowering civilization. Every system was designed to grow, to adapt, to serve future needs that I couldn't even imagine. Your preparation must follow this same principle. Don't just prepare for immediate survival. Build for lasting resilience. Don't just store resources. Create systems that regenerate them. Because when crisis strikes, you won't just survive on what you've stored, you'll thrive on what you've built. Systems that can be maintained, knowledge that can be shared, capabilities that can be passed on. This is how lasting preparation works. Not through temporary solutions, but through permanent improvements. Not through personal stockpiles, but through inheritable systems. Build for the future. Create for continuity. Prepare for posterity. Because in the end, true preparation isn't just about surviving tomorrow. It's about building something that lasts for generations. You know what people remember about the light bulb? The moment it first glowed. That single instant of illumination that changed the world forever. But that's not where the real story lies. The true power wasn't in that moment of light. It was in the thousands of moments of discipline that made it possible. This is the final truth about preparation, about survival, about true resilience. It's not about the dramatic moments. It's not about the crisis, the disaster, the emergency. It's about the quiet discipline that prepares you for those moments. Think about those 10,000 failed attempts at the light bulb. Each one required discipline. Each test demanded focus. Each failure called for persistence. That's what people don't see. The relentless discipline behind every breakthrough. This is your path now, not the path of panic, of fear, of reactive scrambling, but the path of discipline, of methodical preparation, of systematic development, because discipline isn't just a practice, it's the only reliable form of hope. Look at your food storage. It's not just supplies on shelves, it's a testament to discipline, regular purchasing, systematic rotation, consistent inventory, each small act of discipline building toward true security. Consider your water systems. They don't maintain themselves, they require discipline, regular testing, consistent maintenance, systematic improvement. Each disciplined action strengthening your resilience. Examine your power backup. It's not just equipment standing by, it's discipline in action. Regular checks, systematic testing, consistent upgrades, each disciplined step building real capability. Review your security measures. They're not just installations and protocols. They're expressions of discipline, regular drills, systematic improvements, consistent vigilance. Each disciplined choice enhancing protection. Study your skill development. It's not just knowledge acquired, it's discipline applied. Regular practice, systematic learning, consistent improvement. Each disciplined session building true capability. Analyze your documentation. It's not just information recorded, it's discipline preserved. Regular updates, systematic organization. Consistent maintenance. Each disciplined effort preserving crucial knowledge. Consider your team coordination. It's not just people working together, it's discipline synchronized. Regular communication, systematic cooperation, consistent improvement. Each disciplined interaction building real strength. Look at your maintenance routines. They're not just tasks performed. They're discipline embodied, regular checks, systematic repairs, consistent improvements. Each disciplined action preserving capability. Review your evolution processes. They're not just changes made, they're discipline advanced. Regular assessment, systematic upgrade, consistent enhancement. Each disciplined step building better systems. Examine your teaching efforts. They're not just knowledge shared, they're discipline multiplied. Regular instruction, systematic development, consistent improvement. Each disciplined session building lasting capability. Remember, when that first successful light bulb glowed, it wasn't just technology triumphant, it was discipline vindicated. Every methodical test, every systematic improvement, every disciplined effort finally culminating in success. This is your path to true preparation, not through fear, but through discipline. Not through panic, but through method. Not through reaction, but through systematic action. Because when crisis strikes, you won't survive on luck. You won't survive on last-minute efforts. You won't survive on desperate measures. You'll survive on discipline, on the systems you've built methodically, on the capabilities you've developed systematically. This is the final truth of preparation. Discipline isn't just the path to readiness. It is readiness. Discipline isn't just the way to build systems, it is the system. Discipline isn't just how you prepare, it is your preparation. Build your discipline. Trust your method. Follow your system. Because in the end, discipline isn't just how you prepare for hope. Discipline is hope made real through methodical, systematic, relentless action. Welcome to a different kind of preparation. Welcome to the power of methodical. Problem solving. Welcome to the strength of true discipline.